The only thing out of this weekend that I took away was Drew Hutchison's home and road splits. And I guess for me, maybe more importantly, the splits when he has extra rest compared to when he's on regular rest. You can't panic about it, but you'd really have to have your head in the sand if you weren't concerned about it, wouldn't you?
Oh, absolutely. I think couple starts ago when Drew had his struggles, to me right away there was a red flag because he just didn't look like the Drew Hutchison we've been seeing since day one of spring training. And remember, Drew pitched his tail off all spring training to make this club and earn a spot in this rotation, and he did just that. He earned that spot. And it makes you wonder now, did he go too hard in a short period of time, number one, to make the club? And then he continued to pitch fairly, pretty good, consistent throughout the first couple months of the season here. Everybody likes his stuff, his makeup. I mean, I think Drew Hutchison's going to be a fine young pitcher, but he's coming off not even pitching in the big leagues last year, 35 innings, I think, rehabbing in the minor leagues after surgery. Leaving spring training, that was the big question mark in my mind. He got off to such a great start, which was wonderful, but I think you have to continue to keep an eye on him, and we're starting to see a couple little hiccups right here that could be warning signs.
These are the numbers. Of course, Drew Hutchison lost yesterday in losing 5-0 to St. Louis. 3 innings pitched, 6 hits, 5 earned runs, couple of homers. At home this year, he is 1-3. He has an ERA of 8.72. That's in 21 2/3 innings. 7 home runs allowed in 21 2/3 innings. On the road, he's 3-1. He's got an ERA of 2.03, 53 1/3 innings, so a larger sample size, 3 home runs. I think for me, what stands out more is on 4 days rest, he's 3-3, 5.93 is his ERA, 7 home runs, 15 walks, 22 strikeouts, 30 1/3 innings pitched. On extra rest, he's got a 2.62 ERA over 7 starts, 44 2/3 innings, 8 walks, 45 Ks, and 3 home runs. Now, Joe, we see, teams make the playoffs with guys who are better on the road than they are at home for a variety of reasons. And I've made the point. The Rogers Center is a hitter-friendly park, and it only stands to reason if it's hitter-friendly for the Jays, sometimes it's going to be hitter-friendly for the opposition. But what are you seeing in these numbers that gives you cause for concern? Is it more the day's rest factor or the home and road factor? And I'll ask you another question about that. If you're John Gibbons, what do you do? Because you're already managing a knuckleballer, a rookie, Jay Happ. You don't know what you're going to get from Jay Happ. Now you've got to look at a guy who doesn't pitch well at home and seems to pitch better when you give him an extra day's rest. Like, what do you do if you're John Gibbons?
Well, you have to continue to just throw your rotation out there. But in the case of a Drew Hutchison, I think what you have to do is, again, getting back to recovering from surgery, coming back from not pitching a lot last year. Gibby knew going into this season he's going to have to keep an eye on Hutchison. And I think by doing that, what you can do is give him a couple extra days here or there. He may even need a DL stint sooner or later. He may need a couple of weeks to just sit back, take a breather, reboot, recover, and start fresh after that. That may have to happen too, even if he's not hurt. That might have to be something where you just need that time, because you're seeing already with a little extra rest how he's been more effective. Now, the home road split, I don't usually put a whole lot of stock into that.
Okay.
Rogers Center's a tough place to pitch for everybody. But it was interesting that you asked that question. I talked to Drew the other day, a few days back, just coming from Detroit, congratulated him on a great game, and said, "Do you like pitching there?" He said, "I loved it." He just loved it. And I asked him why. And people wonder sometimes why they pitch better on the road or in certain parks. He said he just felt really good on the mound. The way that his visual was, the stands in the background behind home plate, things that I would have never thought about from a pitcher's perspective. But it just like that mental feel, he felt very comfortable the way he was working downhill towards home plate. He said Cleveland feels really good to him too. When he was in Cleveland, he felt that the mound was like higher and that he was on top of the hitter and really working downward with his slider. And are those mounds different? Absolutely not. Is home plate lower? Absolutely not. I don't think so anyway. But it's just a mental feel where maybe you just pitch better. Now, go back to yesterday, though. I don't care what park in the major leagues Drew was pitching in. He just didn't have his good stuff. He was leaving sliders up. He hung a change up to Carpenter. He hung some sliders. He just didn't have his good stuff, so I don't think it mattered yesterday.
I like the fact that it's a minor point, but I like the fact that John Gibbons took him out when he did. We talked about this a little bit off the air. Lets him get those 3 outs, so at least he leaves. it's not a good outing, but it's a lot better to leave at the end of an inning than early in an inning. That doesn't look good to anybody.
Well, and I think John Gibbons and Pete Walker identified that was not going to be Drew's day. His stuff was not good. He gave up the home run to Peralta there, retired the next 3. And if it's going to be a day that looks like it's not going to be good for Drew, get him out of there now.
Mm-hmm.
Again, you have to protect him a little bit. You don't want to throw him out there. They've got to watch him. They've got to watch his arm because of the surgical repairs and the month or year off of not pitching a lot last year. And going hand in hand with that, what a perfect time to slide Todd Redmond in there. And now, do you anticipate Todd Redmond going and give you 5 innings? You're hoping that's the plan. I said it on the broadcast. This is the perfect intent here is to get Redmond to pitch through these middle innings, save the bullpen, and he did a superb job at that. And now you have a nice, fresh, ready bullpen for Minnesota starting tonight.
Let me ask you this. We realize that Drew Hutchison, even if he's healthy and even if his stuff is fine, we understand that the Blue Jays were going to have to manage his innings this year. They're going to have to manage his situation. I'm wondering, though, and I'm thinking back to guy Joe Kerrigan, who used to be the Montreal Expos pitching coach, and Joe was kind of the mad professor of pitching. He had a lot of odd ideas and would do a lot of different things. But if this continues, and let's operate under the assumption Drew's healthy, what can Pete Walker, Bob Stanley, John Gibbons do to get him ready for games at the Rogers Center? One of the things Kerrigan used to do when guys were scuffling at home is he'd basically script the first inning for them in the bullpen. This is who you're facing. You're going to throw this. This is the second guy. You're going to throw this. I don't know if you're a big fan of doing that or if almost treating the warm-up like it's almost treating the warm-up as if it's an inning so that you go in the dugout. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what you would do to try to get him ready.
Well, the difficulty in trying to script things is we know what happens in this game of baseball. Right. If the first batter does something that wasn't scripted, your plans go awry and you have to go to plan B. I think Drew just continues doing what he's doing. I think it's the fact that his numbers are not good here at the Rogers Center. Is it his preparation? I don't think so. I'm sure his preparation is the same in the bullpen wherever he pitches. Some days you're better in the bullpen before your game. Some days you're not. Some days you're terrible in the bullpen before the game and you go out and throw a gem. And it works the opposite as well. I can't see that being a big factor. Clearly his plan has worked on most occasions, and for some reason, his plans here at the Rogers Center have not gone the way he's liked, but I don't think you can script that kind of stuff. I think Drew continues doing what he's doing. Yesterday was a day, just like it was 2 starts ago, that his stuff was just not sharp and not crisp. To me, it got a lot more to do with keeping an eye on him due to his health.